Guys, if the leg is the first thing kids know about me, that's all they'll care about. I want to make friends because they like me, not because they feel bad for me.
Josh, let's start with you. So, you're a Paralympian and a best-selling author, and Best Foot Forward is actually based on your story. So share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a Paralympic athlete. I was a ski racer and I went to the Paralympics, and I wrote a book soon after that about my journey through childhood, losing my leg to cancer, and eventually becoming a ski racer. And that book is what our series is based on. And I'm so lucky to be in a situation where these stories from my life are being adapted to the screen, and hopefully will reach a much larger audience than ever before.
Absolutely. And I understand you actually found Logan to star in the series. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, we found Logan through our just sort of search, really a worldwide search, looking for a kid to play, the young version of me. And Logan, as it happens, came through my Instagram. He was familiar with me from my social media, and I did a casting call post on my Instagram, and he and his mom saw it and read an audition for us, and we loved it.
Well, so talk to me about that, Logan. Here you are, getting to act, have a series created around you, and what was that like?
It was crazy because, I already followed Josh on Instagram. Like, I knew who he was, and just to see this, like, casting call, and then for somebody, like, to tag me in it, and then to see it, and, like, what's this? It was crazy, and just to kind of just be thrown into it, and then just, okay, I'll audition, I guess. And then to see, like, everything being created and, like, getting to where, all right, well, I guess we're going to film it now. Like,
we're going to make a show.
I guess I got it. So
yeah. Guess I'm moving to California.
Yeah. It was a great experience, and I think that it was just, I'm very grateful to be able to be in everything that has happened and that's going on, and yeah, it was just great.
It was like a 6-month process.
Yeah.
Or less, from audition to suddenly you're in California making a show.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's how it works. I love it.
Exactly.
Well, Matt, talk to me. You have a lot of comedy in your background, a lot of writing, a lot of successful shows. But with this one, I love that there's a little bit more depth to it. I mean, obviously, anytime you're transitioning from homeschool to school and middle school, it's going to be ripe for that. But talk to me about creating that great balance that we see.
Sure. Well, look, I mean, it was the depth of Josh's personal story that really drew me to this. I wanted to tell a story that had more depth and more meaning and more potential impact to it. What has been great about Apple as a home for the show is they embrace that. They want us to find those layers and tell the story not just for Josh, the character, but his whole family, right? His whole family, particularly his mom, goes through that journey of Josh going from homeschool to public school alongside him. So yeah, I just, wanted to tell something that was fun, entertaining, but also, kids are very savvy, and, they have a lot of emotional depth to them. So be able to tell stories that honor that as a writer was just exciting.
I think that, it's universal in the sense that one of the things that I took away from it is this idea of labels, right? Labels, whether they're have a negative connotation to them or a positive. You're the smart kid, you're the athlete. They carry a lot of weight, and they're hard to live up to no matter how that happens. Josh, maybe talk to me a little bit about labels and stereotypes within life.
The interesting thing about labels and stereotypes is that there can be ones that are negative. Let's say we see a person who has a disability and think, they're disabled, they can't do things, or you have these like sort of negative preconceived notions. But we might also have what we might think are positive labels, right? Like, wow, you have one leg, you're so inspirational, you're amazing, you're heroic, right? And that can be hard to live up to, right? It might seem like a positive label, but then all of a sudden it's exhausting, and sometimes you don't feel inspirational, and sometimes, and the most important thing is sometimes you don't want to be put in a box of like, this is the certain type of person you are because of this physical thing that has happened to you. What you actually want is to be seen as a whole entire human being, of which maybe having a disability is a part, but overall, there's a lot of other aspects to you as a person, and that's how we tried to write Josh as a character, is Sure, he has one leg, but guess what? He's also a great athlete, and he's enthusiastic, and he joins a bunch of clubs, and he makes a bunch of friends. He's a whole person.
Yeah, Logan,
Yeah,
talking about that, because you're living that, right? For you, when you got the script, when you knew you were going to be part of this, what were you so glad that the two guys sitting next to you got right about the story?
Yeah, I think that it really was just so real, and like all of the writing, it was just what I've gone through, what Josh has gone through. It's like a real part of like my life, and especially Josh, like your life, and it was just so um real, and it was something that like I've gone through myself and that other amputees have gone through. So just to like see it on the screen and to be able to put that like into a show is just, I think it was great.
It sounds like it was
Yeah,
all
no,
like all the little details.
Yeah,
right?
like all the little details like just put together. It was like really.
And you know, Matt, that's a testament to yourself too, to make sure that all that is included, yet it still feels very applicable to any family with the things that they're going through in life, whether, you know, it's a move or a transition. Maybe talk a little bit about keeping it relatable, yet still being very specific.
Sure. Well, look, that's something that very much drew me to, you know, Josh's story into the show, and it's kind of our mantra, all of us throughout making this is we're telling real, relatable stories about a kid who's going through middle school. Like every human has gone through that age and stumbled through. He also just happens to have a prosthetic leg. So, you know, for us, you know, I think someone who sees Josh the character at first glance might think they have nothing in common with him because they don't have a prosthetic leg. But when they see him living life, being a kid, growing up, trying to figure out who he is, get independence from his parents, you know, grow friendships, etc., they realize this is, you know, an incredibly universal story. Just the main character also happens to have a prosthetic leg. So there's so much relatable about this character and this story. And that's the biggest takeaway we want audiences to have.
I couldn't agree more. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I can't wait for audiences to get to see it. So thank you guys so much for taking the time today.
Great, thank you.